Excuse me. Don't you have something you want to pay for? You had a blouse when you were in the dressing room.
No, I don't. The blouse I tried on is still in there.
I looked in there. It wasn't there.
Well, why don't you go look again? It's there.
You need to make a decision whether you want to be with me or you want to be somewhere else.
I don't know, all right? I just need time to think, okay?
If not, I need to
Lighten up, lighten up.
Hey, want something to drink? Who's
No,
this?
I'm fine. Oh, this is my cousin. He's real cool. You know, treat him right.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude, man? I'm cool.
Nah, nothing much. Just kicking it down here.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
What's hanging? Did you hear about the party down at Ogre's house? Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, I heard it's gonna be totally
I haven't heard
sinking,
about
man.
that one. It's gonna
Listen,
be
man,
bumping
I'm
down there.
grounded.
Oh, man.
Don't forget.
I don't think I can go. I don't have the money.
Oh,
Don't worry about
on.
it. Yeah, 40s and everything like
Who's
that.
gonna be there?
Hey, Bones and Chili, dude, they're hanging out.
I don't know if I'm down with that action. They're always packed.
Oh, yeah, packing the pieces. Don't want to get capped. Hey, there's another party down the street. You want to check it out?
Yeah, let's check that out.
Yeah, I heard John's
Gonna be there. I don't know if I can handle that.
Oh, get over it. Don't be sweating.
He's gonna be hanging all over some other girl, man.
Don't be sweating now.
Let's just go to my house.
Your house, man. Your parents will be there.
Yeah,
That's not
no.
happening.
No, my parents are away for the weekend.
Hi, I'm Ken Ackerman.
And I'm Ali Kinney.
During the next hour, we're going to discuss with our studio audience some of the pressures that young people are facing in the 90s.
As teenagers, we have to deal with a lot of the same things our parents did, like keeping our grades up, belonging, and even alcohol.
But today's teens also deal with a lot of new pressures, some that are even life-threatening. So how do we find balance in a world full of pressures?
During this show, we'll share our experiences and come up with some of our own solutions. But first, here's one student's encounter with pressure.
Look at these. Those are cute. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is so
That's just like
cute.
mine.
Sometimes I feel like because I'm black, people make assumptions about me. Like this one time I was out shopping with my friends. One of them was black and the other one was white. I didn't know one of my friends was up to something. Well, you see, we were shopping and we realized the salesman was following us.
Oh my gosh, you guys, do you like it? Is this good?
It's gonna look great on you. But we didn't really pay any attention. We just kept on shopping and trying on clothes. But when we tried to leave, he stopped us.
Excuse me. Don't you have something you'd like to pay for? You had a blouse when you went in the dressing room.
No, I don't. The blouse I tried on is still in there.
I already looked in there. It wasn't there.
Well, why don't you go look again? It's there.
Come on, we have to.
I was mad. He blamed me just because I was black. It was actually my friend who had done the stealing. People shouldn't judge you for the color of your skin. They should see you for what you are.
Being accused of stealing, pressured to steal, or just wanting and taking what other teens have are just a few of the problems that face young people today.
And it's alarming that the statistics nationwide show an increase in pregnancy and juvenile homicides among teenagers.
Every day, over 130,000 young people take weapons to schools, and suicide is listed as the second leading cause of death among teenagers in the U.S.
What is the biggest pressure you feel, any of you guys, today in the 90s?
I have problems with when I grow up. What am I going to be? What am I going to do? And am I going to grow up? A kid I was on a soccer team got shot 2 weeks ago in a gang shooting. It's like, could this happen to me? If so, well, why plan for the future? Why not just live it up now?
Who thinks that things have gotten so crazy that you feel you're going to have to be armed just going to school?
I know I have. When I used to go to school and stuff when I was a freshman, I felt pressures, with other people, and other females didn't like me and stuff, whether it was because I had that man or whatever the case may be. And so I felt, and plus with what I was doing, selling drugs and stuff like that, I had carried around a gun around school, and I've been strip searched for a gun and stuff like that at my school. But, it's like they've never caught me, but, I have that on my record that that's what I always carry and stuff. Because it was just a need for protection.
I know that I feel a lot of pressure myself because whether I'm a pleaser, I always think that everyone has to like me, and so if someone doesn't like me, it really upsets me, and I always try and I'll kiss up to them just to make them like me. And it puts a lot of pressure and stress on me because someone will come to me and say, so-and-so doesn't like you. I'll say, well, why? Just because she don't like you. And I know that's a lot of pressure. What about family pressures? Because
With me, it was hard because I would think the kind of person I was depended on how many achievements I had, and all of this stuff, I was constantly trying to prove something and I was just trying to please everybody else, like you were saying, but I wasn't doing anything for myself, and I just got so overwhelmed, and it was just, I felt all of these pressures that I just didn't feel like I could deal with all of them and be what everybody wanted me to be. So
Is that more of your family or just everybody?
It was hard, yeah, because I've changed a lot over the last year, and I think my parents have kind of, you know, I don't know how they feel about that, but it is from family.
See, it's with dealing with all these pressures, it's where people freak out. It's like you said with the suicide rate it was the second largest cause of death in teenagers. And with drug use being so high, it's kind of like you get all these things piled up on top of you, and you know, you've got family pressures, you've got school pressures, you've got, you know, these societal pressures and whatnot, and you know, eventually you're going to come to a point where you're going to say, I can't deal with this. You're going to say, you know, I don't know how to react to this.
I feel that nowadays I have pressures, and a lot of us have pressures being an African American male or female in today's, you know, society, because we have so many bad images portrayed by the movies, portrayed by bad apples in the community and such forth, that, you know, it's up to me and other people that I can influence to try to make our image look better. You know what I'm saying?
How about the Asian community? Pressures there?
That, I feel, as an Asian person, I came to the United States, I didn't know no English. So think of the pressure I felt, you know? Yeah. It makes my, but when I drop out of school, I mean, every word I try to say, they make fun of me or laugh at me at, or repeat after me, even though I'm not saying the word right, you know? Instead of trying to help me out, they make fun of me.
I don't really feel that pressure very much, at least not at my school, but I have a lot of pressure in my family, and that's with not being, it's being compared to my brother and my sister who do a lot better than me academically, and just trying to live up to my parents' expectations. That's really hard.
Now, what if it's not race-related? What if it's, if you're gay? Is there pressure being gay in this community?
I think there is. With my family, my mother, I told her a while ago, and she hasn't said anything about it. I mean, I'll try and talk to her about something, but she just says, no, I don't want to talk about it. That's your life. Live it. So she's kind of in a state of denial. And I guess I can understand it with her a bit. She's been a single parent for 12, 13 years, and she's trying the best she can. So
does all these pressures tie into the use of drugs and being sexually active? Does this, like, when you have a lot of pressure?
I think so. They can look around and they try and find that release, and that's like, that's like, for example, where the drugs come in. You know, somebody looks around and sees all these barriers and all these hoops that they got to jump through, and they say, you know, I'm tired of this. And somebody says, I'll tell you what, look at this joint. This is your little bit of paradise here. You want to escape for a little while, you can smoke this joint, you can drink this beer. And, you know, and it's that easy escape. And you know, that's where people get hooked. People say, you know, and they start wanting more, you know. They say, you know, why do I have to keep jumping through these hoops? Why can't I be here all the time?
All right, thanks, Tori. We'll talk about teen pressures in the 90s and possible solutions when we come back.
Did you hear Mr. Dolman today?
Yeah, I fall asleep in this class so much, I'm gonna flunk.
he talks in a monotone all the time.
Hey, what's up?
We're back.
Have you heard this one before? Drinking makes you more attractive, sexy, and funny. It's easier to talk to people, and you can escape your problems. Sounds like a quick fix, but drinking could end your life.
Did you know that 3 million high school-age teens are problem drinkers, and almost half of all high school seniors drink excessively every other week?
Being pressured to drink is all around us. It's at parties, and everyone's doing it, but alcohol isn't the only temptation.
I was a typical 9-year-old kid. I liked to play games, run around the park, and have fun. I only had one hitch. I had to sell drugs. It was to get the money I needed that my parents couldn't afford to give me. It was a lifestyle.
What you looking for?
50's worth. You see it in the schoolyards, around your friends, your neighborhood, on TV shows. It's everywhere.
Hey, you got a net?
Yeah, you got the money? Sure, it's right here.
I sold drugs to my best friends. They were my main customers. But selling it was not enough for me. I've been using since I could remember.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Thanks.
I got drugs on my birthday. So what do you expect from a kid when your parents give it to you? But people change. I don't sell or use drugs anymore. I got a job, and I'm rebuilding my life.
Drugs and alcohol are a part of the dating scene, but really, how attractive is getting drunk or being high?
Let's talk about some personal experiences.
I don't think a drunk girl is attractive at all. I mean, a girl falling over, oh, how you doing? My name is, hold on, let me remember. Nah, I can't fake that.
But I don't think they're trying to be attractive, you know? They don't do it
don't-
because they think it looks cute. They do it because they like how
They
it
don't
feels.
think they're doing. They can't control anymore. It's like, but still, I can't find no drunk girl attractive.
What about the guys holding 40s?
That ain't attractive either. What's the big deal? Oh, I got a 40. Wow.
That's enough.
What kind of macho statement is that?
That's what I'm asking.
It's I don't know what you would really call somebody holding a 40. Ain't no big deal. What? Make it look like a gangster? Make it look grown
That's
up?
like some people in the movies holding a champagne glass or a bottle of wine or something like that. That's just what they choose to drink. If they want to drink a 40 and you want to drink wine or gin and juice or something like that, that's your choice, you know what I'm saying? But you should be of the age that you can make that decision and make a wise decision when you do make it.
Now, when we're drinking, are we drinking because there's a lot of pressure on you right now? We got to get away from things. Or are we drinking because it's socially the thing to do?
Socially.
Not really.
Nah.
See how frustrated? A lot of people do drugs and drink to kind of escape from reality because it's kind of different, kind of change. You know, it's not the normal thing. You know, it alters how you think and it kind of softens your emotions. You know, it kind of makes everything not so.
I can
in some
understand
cases.
Because I know with me, it's like when I get around girls, I'm like really, really shy unless I'm with my friends.
You're shy, Quasi?
when I get around girls and I'm not around a whole lot of people that I know, then sometimes I do get really shy when it comes around girls. And when I usually drink or like smoke weed or something like that, I usually just like that's only just do enough to get a spark. And I know I should be talking about this, but it's just like I just kind of that gets me over the edge of being shy.
What
It's
about?
like I don't get drunk or smoke weed to try to get this like outrageous high. I just smoke enough so I can relax. So I can relax myself and I'm open to talking to anybody and open to just conversating instead of being shy and just like just kind of clamming up and just being with my friends.
What about Holly? I know that you had. Was it for socially, or why don't you talk about your experiences?
I come from a long line of alcoholics and drug addicts. Most of my family is, and my sister started drinking when she was young, and so, you know, that's just the way I saw it. I mean, that's what my family did to relax. That's how they deal with their problems. So I did it too.
So you didn't do it socially?
No, and for me it wasn't social. It wasn't social at all because I used to get drunk and high, and by myself. It didn't matter, you know, who I was with or if I was with nobody at all.
That's not really a lot different from Becca's situation, but you know, there are some. What am I trying to say here? You can't just get away from it, I guess, if your parents did it, right?
Yeah, my parents were the same way, and I think for me it was also a social thing though as well. I think it's a very social thing. I mean, it's out there in the public eye. I mean, it's on television. It's with everything, and it revolves around everything that I believe that teenagers, you know, I mean, it totally attracts teenagers, you know, cars and money and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, it was also a social thing, but I also, you know, my parents did it, so not necessarily did I not know any better, because, you know, you're at school and then it's like say no to drugs. It's not that easy.
Well, I disagree because that if it's in the family that you can't get out of it, because I have some friends who one of their parent is an alcoholic, and I think that makes her more away from drinking because she sees what it does and more aware.
I know some of my friends whose parents are the same way. It's like they see the alcoholism and they see how bad it affects them. So it's like, I ain't even gonna dare even try it because I know if I even get the taste.
It don't necessarily make you do it, but like when I was growing up, it was like alcohol was bad, but my dad smokes weed, you know, so that wasn't as bad because he could do it. And he was telling me, you know, it's not that bad, you know, it just calms him down. He's not so tense or anything. But alcohol is like, I was always brought up to think that was real bad, you know, to be drunk. That's just.
But
feel
you didn't
dirty.
think that smoking weed was as bad as alcohol.
I
Now,
mean,
what if I told you a story about a girl who spent 13 years as a Girl Scout? When she was 14, she started selling drugs. What would push someone to go from Girl Scout to selling drugs? Autumn.
Change money.
Selling cookies.
Yeah, the cookies just don't bring in the money, right, Autumn?
It was just my friends. Thank you. Door to door.
Yeah.
But,
Door to door don't work.
No, it was just my friends. It was the money. It was the people. Just we did it for fun and stuff. I didn't look at it like a profit, a business, and stuff like that. I was 14 years old. I'm open to experiences. Smoking weed with my friends, drinking, E&J. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it was an experience.
What I don't get is how come everybody's making, all adults and stuff make such a big deal about bud and drinking and stuff, It's no worse than smoking. It's just a slow way of killing you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, smoking kills you either way, too.
In
And so is
fact,
alcohol.
smoking can almost kill you quicker.
I mean,
There is a difference because alcohol and drugs ruin my life. If I wouldn't have stopped snorting coke, if I wouldn't have stopped drinking, if I wouldn't have stopped smoking weed, I would have been dead by now. Because I went into deep depression. I had to go into the hospital. I was down to 79 pounds. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Nothing.
So is it fun? Is it like?
It was at
doing
first.
it-
It
it's
was
not-
fun at first because it took all my problems away. I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't, it was like I didn't care. I was high. I was drunk. I didn't care.
I know in our
But then it got to the
community-
point where it was just out of control, and that's when you gotta stop.
In my community, a lot of young people, they drink alcohol because that's their way of release. A lot of people don't have the money, weekly allowances, go to the movie, go to the mall, buy this and that and there. But a $42.25 now, we get 5 of us together, we can stumble up on $2.25. So it's easier and it's a release to get away from the problems that they have at home or whatever, and that's how they were trained. We need a new system to start something new.
So overall, we do judge it as socially.
Yeah. If you know someone with an alcoholic problem, you can call the Hazelden Foundation. That number is toll-free, 1-800-I-DO-CARE. You'll get a free 12-page booklet, and it'll tell you how to talk to a friend or family member that might be an alcoholic.
When we come back, we'll find out more about teen pressures in the 90s.
Oh, I really love your hair. Don't you love it? It's red. I wanted to make a statement, and here it is.
It looks so good. Do you think I should dye my hair?
Definitely.
And back to What's Up?
One problem that most of us face growing up is social pressure. Now, tell me if any of these lines sound familiar. Everyone is doing it. Come on, all your friends are doing it. You're just not with it.
How about this one? I know you want to do it. You're just afraid of what people will say. Come on, take a drink. It'll get you in the mood.
Now, if you haven't guessed by now, these remarks refer to another very real pressure for teens.
This way. Okay.
I lost my virginity when I was 12 years old to a girl who was my age.
Come on.
I went over to her house and she teased me and said her parents weren't home.
We can go in here.
So that was my first one-night stand.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
What's your name?
My name's Tammy. What's your name?
Tim. Could I have some of those?
Sure.
My first serious relationship was when I was 15
Hi.
and she was 18. My friends called me over to come see her.
Oh, hi. Isn't your name Jason?
Yeah.
She paid a lot of attention to me. So later that night, we ended up sleeping together. I fell in love. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for about 2 months. Until she got pregnant.
Well, where do we stand? Do you know where we stand at?
And we just kept fighting and arguing about her pregnancy.
I don't know.
Then she met an older guy. That's when our relationship ended. And I was so hurt over it. I realized I was too young to be in that serious of a relationship. So then I started using safer sex.
Every day, 7,000 teens become sexually active. Nearly 3,000 get pregnant, and more than 1,000 teenagers give birth.
TV shows us most of the romance of sex, but in real life, that's not always the case. There are consequences of pregnancy, AIDS, and emotional problems.
Is sex something that we are pressured into at this age? And not only this age, but even younger ages?
Sex is kind of something you can like do to fit in. Like, oh yeah, like sometimes the guys, oh yeah, I had sex with her, and her. And sometimes guys be like, oh, for real? Oh man, that's fresh, man, that's cool. And they like, it's like a big macho statement to some guys.
I have a question to address the gentleman. Why is it that guys can brag about sex?
Some guys.
Well, some guys can brag about sex, but when a girl brags about sex, she's labeled as a slut or a hoe or...
I've seen it go both ways.
Yeah, I have too.
I've seen where a guy brags about sex, or people find out he's having sex with, various different girls, and, people find out about that and they label him as a male slut, I guess you could say, just a slut. And
I've also seen it, instead of the guy lying about sex, the girl lying about sex with the guy.
One thing I want to say about also about sex is, sex is something natural. How come everybody has to try to hide it and make such a big deal about it? Why don't they just make it, educational? I mean, why don't they just educate everybody so you don't have to get disease and all that stuff?
I think, Joe, you could speak on behalf of the people that maybe don't think about AIDS enough and should, correct?
Yes. I know 2 people who had AIDS, one of which is dead now.
Is it a real concern to people? I mean, do people realize AIDS is very, very real out there?
Most people who don't know someone with it don't realize, really. I mean, it's more of a it happens to other people kind of a disease.
It's more of a do it because everyone else is doing it thing now, it seems like. But people are more aware of, their partners and everything. They're trying to see who they've been with and all that more now. Because I think everyone's scared of getting AIDS, No one wants AIDS, but it's just the fact that they don't think it'll happen to them.
Now, a lot of people think that AIDS has boundaries. You have to be gay to get AIDS. Now, Sean, AIDS is very real among the gay population, but you don't have to be gay to get AIDS.
That's totally correct.
Now, do you, being a member of the gay community, take steps, and do you think that heterosexuals take the same steps as you do?
Some. Every time that I've had sex, it's been as protected as can be, but there's still also the chance that I could get AIDS. So I've gotten myself tested every 6 months.
What is it like being pregnant, being in high school? You're supposed to be going to your school prom, but you're staying home with your child and raising your child.
That's Tiffany, right?
Tiffany?
Well, it's very hard. I thought it would be easy. I got pregnant when I was 16, and my son is now 1 year old. And it's really hard. It's not easy at all. I used to babysit my nephew, and, if he cried or anything, I can always, give him back to my sister, but it's not hard at all. It takes a lot of patience.
What are you missing out on?
And,
That
well,
other
I
kids
still
your
have,
age?
I still have fun with my friends every once in a while, but I like to spend time with my son.
So did you use protection, or it wasn't planned? I mean, because I know that
it
condoms
wasn't
can
planned, but I didn't use protection with my boyfriend at the time.
Where's Tori?
Hello.
Hi, Tori. What about your experiences with sex?
Well, I myself have never been pregnant before.
That you know of.
That I know of, yes. But I've had certain sexual experiences before. One of them was under the influence of alcohol, and that was one that was sort of, it wasn't the only one per se, but it was a rather unpleasant one. It wasn't sort of a good experience for me. That was a time when I went to a party and just sort of started talking with a girl. Things happened. We ended up sleeping with each other, and we didn't use any kind of protection, and that was sort of a scary kind of thing.
Doesn't that scare people, having sex without love even being a consideration with the problems that we have right now? I think one way to combat the problem, and it's maybe idealistic, is abstinence, but Emily, you've gone with it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've decided I don't want to have sex until I get into a really monogamous relationship with the guy, and I really love him, and I can feel totally comfortable, and we both respect each other, because I just can't deal with all that emotional stuff right now.
When we come back, we'll talk about teen pressures and how to cope.
Hey, come on, take a drink. It'll be good for you.
I'm not into that. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, the buzz is the best part. What's up? Back in full effect.
How do you see yourself? How do others see you? Being accepted and fitting in is just as important today as it was in the 70s. The only difference is what teens have to do to be popular in the 90s.
Sometimes as teens, we're pressured into making choices that aren't healthy. We might even make the wrong decision just to be accepted.
When I was really young, I was also really skinny. Kind of a scrawny little girl, very athletic, very active, never had a care in the world. When I got older, especially when I began playing volleyball, it became really clear to me that I had to retain that image. We wore those tight uniforms that I couldn't even concentrate on how I was playing because I was so concerned about the spectators watching and what they saw. I tried everything I could not to gain weight, especially when I began dating. Because no matter what happened when the person opened the door for me, I did not want them to be disappointed in what they saw.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
You look good. You look really good.
If they were to put their arm around my waist, I wanted my waist tight enough that they weren't going to feel any extra bulge. I remember before each date, I would have thrown up anything that I'd eaten. I had done so many sit-ups, running, and still it just wasn't enough. I tried everything I could not to gain weight, exercising, dieting, whichever. But the more I tried, the more I became obsessed about it, the more I wanted to eat. And the more I obsessed, the more I became compulsive. The harder into the habit I became. I became very bulimic, and I also became very sick. I admitted myself into a hospital where I had to give up. And I had to let them give me the right number of calories for my daily needs. And I had to let them listen to me scream and yell as I was afraid I was getting fat. But most importantly, I had to become real. But I can look back now and I wish I can do it all over again and live my life like a normal teenage girl.
Looking good, being accepted, having the right clothes, a car, and the money to fit in are just some of the pressures that teens are experiencing.
What is most important about our image? Why don't we start with Luke? How do you define the way you dress?
I don't know, I dress kind of outrageous, people say, but my dress isn't really that important to my image to me. I mean, I like to think of myself kind of abstract and all that, but I just want people to more wonder about me. You know, I don't let no one really know me because I like people to think, you know, what is he going to do next? So I can do something one day and the next day do something different.
Now, do people categorize you folks? We've got so-called housers, freaks, preppies. Tell me, what is a houser? Quasi.
Supposedly a houser is somebody who wears baggy clothes. I mean, it's like extremely baggy clothes, like you could fit both your legs in one leg. Huge shirts that are like quadruple X's and stuff like that that are like fit a cow or something like that.
Is that so-called dressing black?
That's supposed to be how housers dress.
Sean, do you know the difference between a houser and what you're dressed as?
Well, that's a kind of new term to me. I mean, we go to a really open-minded school, and there isn't really any cliques there or anything. Nobody cares how you dress. It's what's on the inside of the clothes that counts. And
I guess in contrast, you go to an open-minded school. You folks, Jennifer and Luke, go to a rural conservative school, yet you're, freaks, I guess you call it?
How do the people treat you at your school with the way you dress?
They don't like us.
Well,
some
people are kind of, there's like the Hicks or whatever. There's a lot of those type of people that are into the Wranglers and cowboy stuff, and they don't like this kind of stuff at all, But there's a lot of people that are nice.
Well, how does it make you feel when people do put you down? Or you said at first they called you freaks, but now you're comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel at first?
I hated it at first. I mean, I couldn't stand it, but I mean, I wanted people to learn to accept me for who I was, so now I like it. I mean, I don't know.
It's sort of a melting pot here. Why do we have to categorize people? We've got freaks, housers, anachronists. What's an anachronist?
Basically, someone who's just sick of, like, for instance, if I were to be styling, I'd be like black jacket, tie, suit, black pants, leather shoes.
Medieval.
And it just doesn't, like, that whole jacket tie thing, it doesn't work for me. It's like,
Are you interested in dressing medieval as well as like medieval, like, no, but like the past, the storytelling, like
God,
the
the story, the culture,
of it?
where we come from, everything.
That's great.
But like we also have people who dress medieval Japan, medieval Asia, medieval Middle East.
I guess the bottom line is, does it matter how we dress? Does anyone have a parent that has a problem with how you dress, or a teacher even?
I do. When I was younger, I used to hang out with mostly black people, and my mom didn't like it because my hair was short and I would pull it back and I'd have grease in it, and my mom thought that I was trying to act black. Or if I wore baggy jeans, or if I cuffed them and creased them and big clothes and like a parka or something, she used to say that I was acting black and that I should be more proud about my color and stuff like that.
I know.
Go ahead.
I know. With me, I'm starting to borrow my dad's shirts. In fact, I just borrowed him his good long polo shirts, and he got quite upset about that because, you know.
Well, same. Well, I'm borrowing my mom's clothes.
Yeah, sure you are. Anyway, so it just different parents react different ways.
Now, Joe, you had a problem with the teacher, right? Tell me about what teachers think of the way you dress.
I used to dress a lot different than I am at this exact moment, and depending on the way you dress, if they don't happen to agree with it and you walk into their classroom, it's like they immediately have an idea on who you are. You haven't even said your name yet, and they know who you are and what you're thinking. They don't call on you to answer questions. They just assume that anything that's going to come out of your mouth isn't worth for them or anyone else to hear.
So obviously, image is really important today.
Especially in the 90s, being an individual, I guess, is what you really want to stress. It doesn't mean anything besides you want to wear certain clothes, and no one should take it any differently. Well, belonging to a group of friends is important to teens, and there are many groups to hang out with. There are stoners, preppies, rappers, wiggers, hip-hoppers, gangsters, sharps, brains, computer nerds, and more.
But something to think about is this. Who you choose to hang out with and be your friend can really affect your future. We'll be right back with more What's It.
I don't fit in here. I don't wear baggy jeans. I don't wear my baseball cap backwards. I don't listen to the music of the times. I thought high school was supposed to be fun. I sit alone every day at lunch.
Hey man, back to what's up.
Now, most people need someone to look up to, a parent or maybe even their teacher. Now, whoever it may be, they are a role model, someone to follow and someone to emulate.
But if you can't find that someone at home, you look for a substitute outside of your family.
Back in middle school, I wasn't really into school too much. I was always in trouble, always in the principal's office, and the only way I really passed middle school was through a friend of mine. He did his work and I copied it. And then the summer of my 6th grade year, my older cousin came from California and he introduced me to the gang lifestyle. He had fancy clothes, beautiful ladies, and a lot of power over people, and he had a grip of money. And then at that time, I just knew I wanted to hang around him and be just like him. So I got more heavily involved in the gang lifestyle, and I started selling guns, shooting at rival gang members because I had a lot of hatred towards him and people in general. I mean, I hated the whole public. And after that, I was arrested and taken to the Justice Center at age 17. And then I was committed to the MyCap program, and that's to help gang members transition into society and rehabilitate themselves. And that's what really changed my life. And I'm working at MyCap right now as a peer counselor, and I'm working with kids at a middle school and I'm gonna try to teach them from my experiences to go the right way instead of taking the wrong way out.
You're gonna run into them kind of people. I mean, you're gonna run into people that get mad about different things, and you just gotta put up with it.
By me being here, it gives them an avenue to come and talk to somebody they can trust, and that'll show them to respect other people. Right now I'm getting my 22 tattoos removed, and I'm gonna leave the past life in the past and continue on with my new life.
Gangs affect everyone, whether you're in one or not. They disrupt neighborhoods, ruin families, kill friends and innocent people. So why do teens join gangs, Autumn?
To get attention, to have friends. Kick it.
Kick it. What's
Yeah.
kick it?
Go do something, you know?
I say gangs are a product of lack of. What you lack, you find in a gang. You pick up from there.
Love and stuff like that, caring, feeling like somebody cares about you, feeling like you fit in.
It's just like a family.
Yeah, it's
If
like
I
a
were
family
to
you don't
want to
have.
join a gang, how would I get in a gang?
It depends on who you know and what gang, and you know, there's
Most likely, you probably know somebody that's already in that gang. You wouldn't just go and try to find a gang and get up there. 'Cause you'll be coming up short somewhere. But you would you know somebody that's in a gang, and you'd be around there, and you'd already be labeled as affiliate already just because you're around that person and you know that person. So you're closer to the gang than you think, you know.
Now, Charles, I hear people talking about you join a gang to kick it, to have friends. Where does violence fit in with this? Why is violence associated with gangs?
Violence is your expression, your thoughts. You know, young people, myself when I was that age, I didn't know how to express myself. So when a problem occurred, it could be a little day problem like I can't find shoestrings or something. Well, I take that out on somebody else, you know. That's how I learned to deal with my problems, and which is not right, but that's the only way I knew.
Davey, violence is a way to express your energy, your thought?
Well, I don't know about different kind of gangs, but Asian gangs in specific, I mean, we don't...
What's the difference between Asian gangs and like the
African American gangs and all that stuff? Well, one thing, there's very few of our gangs that sag and all dress up like bandanas around your face and all that stuff. I mean, any of us could go down in suits or dress like me, and you wouldn't even know any of us is a gang, in any kind of gang, you know? And our gang is like, before we do any crime, we organize it. It's like kind of like a miniature organized crime.
But what I'm asking here is, you organize crime? Why? If you're kicking it, you're going out to have fun with your friends. What does crime have to do with that?
Exactly.
That's how you get attention. You don't have nothing else. You don't have nothing else in the world. You're at the lowest point of your life. You're at the bottom. Everybody else is on TV somewhere or doing this and that. So you get attention by starting something. You start a fire, you're going to see the light. You know what I'm saying?
I constantly hear people say, well, they're going to join a gang or they need a gun to have their back for some reason or to protect themselves. But why would you need a gun to protect yourself if you weren't doing anything bad in the first place?
For one thing, let's get something straight. I mean, just because you're in a gang does not mean you're necessarily doing crime or disrupting the neighborhood. That's
right.
Right.
I mean, gang is a group of people coming together to become one.
That's what I'm saying.
It can be positive.
Right.
It can be positive
or negative.
That's why I want to know where the violence comes in, and I'm hearing it's a way to express yourself.
A lot of people use violence as respect. They think that if they're violent towards people, and I'm not saying all gang members, I'm saying some of them, you know. They think that if they can be violent towards people, that'll earn their respect and they'll fear them, therefore they won't mess with them, you know, they won't try and talk about them or nothing. And
But how you know one from the other, you know?
You don't.
How you know which one is the violent one?
You never
You're
know.
gonna treat them the same,
It's
right?
a power thing, man.
You're gonna treat them the
It's all
same,
about
though.
power and
It's all about power. You got to have power in this day and age. If you don't have anything, then you're at the bottom. You know, you get stepped on. If I try to be cool and walk nonchalantly, someboody gonna walk down the hall and bump into me, and there's nothing I can do.
Well, if
Nothing.
it's about respect, then why the violence and killing? If you, especially I know.
Disrespect.
Well, it frustrates me because I hear a lot of African American, brothers and sisters saying that they need to move up in society, but then when they're labeled as, when they do gang member stuff, they're just disrespecting themselves and being
Then
looked
we
down
go
upon.
to lack of self-esteem, lack of self-education. You don't know about yourself, so what else do you have to look forward to? You know what I'm saying? Now, I try to teach these young brothers that I do a little bit of counseling with over at House of Moja that, you got to know about yourself. And then you'll feel good about yourself. Once you feel good about yourself, then in turn you'll try to do good for your community. But if you don't feel good about yourself, you don't care.
Because how do you create power if you're just bringing yourself down?
Money. That's what we see. We see the commercials, Benzes, big houses, money. You feel that one day you'll be up there just like everybody else.
And don't forget, around this world is run off of money. you ain't people anymore. Money is money. That's what goes. That's what is the big thing in this world. That's why people are killing off each other for money. That's why you're killing off rainforests and everything. Money. This whole world is run off of money. It ain't people anymore.
We're just in the eyesight, you know, the little people that you can pick on right now and say, oh, those gangs, let's get that. But there's bigger gangs out there that's worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Things that's just really doing it, but they have so much money and prestige that they don't get touched.
Like the mafia.
What made you get out of the gangs? What made you get out of that mentality of thinking and realize? Because, I mean, when you are selling drugs and you're getting all of this money, when you've never had any money and you're getting all of this money, I mean, if I came from something like that, I could see myself getting sucked into that. But how did you get out of it? I mean, how did you change that?
There's a lot of self-education, people that still cared about me that I really didn't think cared about me, but they did. And when it got down to it, you know, your partners is your partners, but they'll do you as quick as anybody else would. You know what I'm saying? When it really get down to it, because it's all about cash. You know, so
what happens to the people that don't have anybody to care about them? Do they just kind of...
They just in it. They in it until they die or if they make that choice.
Why you gotta be in a gang to have homeboys like that?
Yeah.
You can have homeboys, but
you don't.
You don't have to.
But I promise you this, if all 5 of your homeboys walk down Lloyd Center, you'll be labeled as a gang.
That happens all the time. I
Say, tell the truth now, honestly.
Now, is that because you're African American?
No, that's because you're together. You know,
Yeah. 5 people walking together is a gang.
They will watch you. I mean,
yes. It's mostly
Definition.
African Americans because we're seen mostly in the limelight as far as, you know, maybe us and, you know, Laotians or Japanese, Chinese, you know what I'm saying? Because we're more minority as far as they see.
Yeah, there's
You
that
know,
stereotype there.
There's more, you know, European people walking together like that.
Yeah.
If
they
a police
notice it when there's 5 black people walking,
Yeah.
they notice it, but you could have 20 white people walking and it's a mall. No one cares.
Well, what can we do about that? How can we break that stereotype of, or if you're sagging that you're a gang member?
That's not going to change.
There's not really much
That's
you
up
can
to
do.
up to the people who are, you know, thinking those thoughts. You know, that's up to them. You know.
You're gonna believe what you're gonna believe.
You can't only educate the kids, you gotta educate the adults too, so they know better, you know. This is a
That's
different generation, it's a totally different generation gap.
It starts within your home.
How do we educate adults, Charles?
Everybody has to take responsibility and know that there's a child out there that you got to look after. They might not be your own child. You know, in a community, it takes a community to raise a child, not just the parents, because the parents have to work sometimes. Parents have to do different things. We all have to come together and watch over this person's child or this person's child and maybe do something to raise this a little bit better.
Yeah, 'cause like they did in the old days, where you got your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
If you do something wrong, your next door neighbor gonna whip you. If not, if you go down the street and you do something wrong, somebody gonna come out the house. Somebody grandma gonna come out the house, snatch you up, and whip you. And you gonna walk on home, and you gonna say, "Mommy, so and so down the street whipped me." She gonna say, "Good, what'd you do wrong then?"
So it's becoming
you need to go back. Some people need to go back to old school, how it used to be, where everybody cares about everybody. You're not just, well, my mom's the only one that cares about me. You gotta start respecting everybody. You gotta start caring about everybody and how they act and how they treat you.
Okay, Adam, how do you feel about being, how did you get out of being a gang member, or when did you start?
I started in '89 and I got out about '91, and I wound up getting out because I wound up in jail.
You know, you're laughing, Autumn. You're laughing because right now it sounds funny.
It is, but you know, I learned a lot from it because, you know, it's like when I got out and stuff, I had self-respect for myself, but then when I try to talk to some of my old homies that I used to hang with, they weren't there, you know, because I've changed, they've changed. Everybody's changed.
Does it boil down to if you respect yourself, others are going to respect you? Is that what it boils down to? No?
People disrespect you regardless.
No matter
you know?
what. Yeah.
Like if I walk into a store with my hair like this and I go towards the candy section, they just automatically, that's disrespectful to be looking at me, watching me, following me through the whole store, you know. Not that I have money, I have to come in with the money in the hand like this, you know, to keep people from saying, you know, he's gonna steal something, he's gonna take from us, you know.
Well, thanks for being open. I appreciate that. I've learned a lot about gangs. When we return, we'll talk about staying on track and how teens survived the pressures of the 90s.
I'm not in a gang because I know what I'm about, and I don't need a gang to belong because I feel like I belong everywhere I go. Hey man, what's up?
Being a teenager in the 90s means growing up without the everyday presence of mom and dad. It means growing up on a steady diet of reality, where earlier generations managed to tune in on just bits and pieces.
There's violence, more danger, and more temptations to cope with today. So how do we succeed as teenagers in a complex world?
If we make it past teenagers, are we going to make it past this point, or are we going to shoot each other, kill each other off? How are we going to make it to adulthood, Charles?
Myself as an African-American male, I feel that I was getting close to extinction and also being part of the genocide problem with the gangs that I was in and shoot 'em up, bang bang type of stuff. You know, but I made a decision in my life that me trying to be a role model maybe could make an example for somebody else and try to get up out of this, because we're never going to be nowhere or never going to be anybody unless we take a chance and just look.
And you do some good work with the House of Umoja, and you've decided to turn your life around. Can parents help, Ian?
Yes, my parents are really helping me to just kind of go with my problems and help me through them and stuff. They're co-parents.
And self-respect is a big issue too. You need to have self-respect.
Emily?
Also, I think parents play a big part because they can be a good support group, and they can give kids self-confidence to go out there and do things to accomplish their goals, because that's what it's all about. You can do anything if you love yourself. And I mean, as cheesy as that sounds, it's so true. If you have confidence, and if you have a good support system and parents that encourage you and let you be your own person, you can do anything you want.
That's one thing I try to do a lot of is when my parents aren't always around, I would usually pick sports. I love to run. Whenever I have problems, I usually go run. And that's one way that keeps me that keeps a drive for living every day, is my sport, to get better, to get going farther, to go higher up and get somewhere. And so sports is one thing that really helps me, and it's kept me alive for a lot of years. It's just that everyday sports, like I got to work harder. I got to push myself harder. No pain, no gain. So that's been there.
If you don't care about yourself, nobody else will. You know, I feel like if I go over to the northeast side and try to shoot somebody, there's a good chance I can get away. But if I go downtown or somewhere and try to shoot somebody, I'm rushed like that, you know. So you got to make decisions in your life that whether or not I'm going to be in prison all my life, I'm going to be dead, or I'm going to try to get an education, uplift myself, and make my people happy that know me. You know what I'm saying?
Where's Holly? Let's see. Holly. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
For me, I've always had a love for acting, and I never had enough courage or enthusiasm to go with it, because I was always afraid that I wouldn't succeed. And eventually my family got me into it, and I'm now in what's called the Juliet Project, which is a group of diverse teens who are all doing a production based on Romeo and Juliet. And this, I mean, for me, it's great because it's something new and it's something different and it's something that I've never done before, but I've always wanted to do.
So acting is a catharsis for you. Is that what we all need, a different catharsis in life? Tension release?
Somebody got to find something that can make them drive, that can just keep them alive.
What is keeping us going?
I always, like, there's a saying, today's the first day of the rest of your life. I don't look at it like that. Tomorrow could be the last day of my life. And I want to be able to look back at that last day and say, hey, what I have done is worth it. I've lived a good life. People can look up to me after I'm gone.
It's a great way to look at things. Everyone agree?
Yeah. My friends keep me going. As long as I have someone to laugh at or someone to laugh at me, then that'll keep me going.
My favorite quote is, "Today is the future." We need to use that.
Jaleel?
My parents, you know, they emphasize going to college. That's my goal, you know, as soon as I get out of high school, college.
All right, although pressures of the 90s have created more anxiety and stress for teens, many young people are making it. They're working hard, setting goals, and finding ways to cope.
And we hear a lot about what teenagers are doing wrong, but there is a lot of good, positive things that we're doing right, too.
You know, I think just by speaking amongst each other, maybe talking to your parents, talking to the teachers, we're finding a way to cope and to go on just by talking and letting it out. And I think that's the first step in becoming adults.
And that wraps it up for this edition of What's Up. You can write us at KPTV 12 What's Up, P.O. Box 3401, Portland, Oregon 97208.
If you didn't get it the first time, that's KPTV What's Up, P.O. Box 3401, Portland, Oregon 97208. And we thank you all for joining us, and we thank you as well.
Thank you.